This is Trent, and I wanted to chat through getting started in your walkthroughs for our upcoming 278 class. I understand you'll be gone on Saturday, but if you can work ahead here, I think we'll be in good shape to bring you up to speed for class on Sunday. Hopefully travels go well and you're able to travel safe and on time. So I am in the Edivate course here. I know you've progressed because I've been following your progress behind the scenes. And when it gets to your actual walkthrough observations, we'll go down to this folder, walkthrough observations. I'm going to ask you to chronologically work through these tasks. I believe you're somewhere in the 20s, upper 20s already. When we get down here to the actual walkthroughs, we get to the directions here, and I'm just going to pause for a minute. Some of these most important tasks here, they're all important, but task 26, before you begin walkthroughs, is a good presentation. The actual purposes here from Downey is good, which we'll talk more about in class. And then some of your gauge, your learning questions is important. We'll be talking more about those specifically in class. But when you get to the actual walkthroughs, again, this is designed to be as realistic as possible. The only difference is that you're not actually going into a classroom. We're all evaluating these classrooms by video rather than visiting those live classrooms, and you're completing the walkthrough form on the form I've created for you, which we'll walk through. So task 34 here, directions for walkthrough. Either two tabs here on your computer, or you can use a mobile device to watch the video and use your actual computer to complete the observation notes. That'll be much more conducive. And so once you do that, you click on this link here, step 2, this link, or copy and paste it, and we'll see what happens. So I have two tabs up here. You may have to put in your password again. It's going to take you to a separate server page where I have a template built for you. In class, we'll be comparing walkthrough forms. What often happens is there's lots of differences, uniquenesses. Some are much more detailed than others. But in the end, we'll all use the same walkthrough form and look at the same instructions so we can have some deeper conversations about the walkthroughs and what we observed. This takes just a minute as it toggles and loads the template. And then you'll see a couple templates here under this tab. I have more than you. You'll just have a couple. You will pick the one that says EDL 278 Classroom Walkthrough CR14. And it should be this one right here for me as well. It doesn't necessarily matter which building. I think you only have one option. And then pick yourself. So I'm going to pick myself in here to do this evaluation on. And hit Start Observation. Right here at the beginning, this is not a self-evaluation, so just leave your name in here first and the date, which is nice. I would put this is an informal walkthrough. Let's go back and look at which video we're going to look at here in the next task. So this example we're going to do in class is a 7th grade language arts lesson. So let's see, let's click on that. Fetch the video, 7th grade language arts. I'm going to let it play here and pause it. Seventh grade language arts. So I'm going to go back and forth to my template. 7th grade. Subject was language arts. These checkboxes, quite honestly, don't matter. This will populate on its own when you submit. So that's all good. If you do need to stop for any reason, just hit save and close, and you can always come back to it. Once you finish and submit, you're not able to come back. Let's take just a quick look before we spend some time in that classroom and what you're going to be asked to document on your walkthrough. First is clear learning objective. You'll click yes or no. And then in this box here, when I click on it, I'm going to put my rationale, just like I'm the principal walking in that classroom. So clear learning target, yes, no, and why did you say yes, no? What was the evidence? Students engaged in learning is our second criteria to look for. Yes or no, and if when I click in the box, what is the evidence I'm citing to say yes or no? Next is assessment observed. Notice it doesn't say formative or summative. So you as the evaluator make that determination. Check yes or no, and again, cite evidence. And then what reflective questions would you leave for that teacher for growth or to consider based on your classroom observations? So that's what we're looking for. Lesson target, assessment, engagement, and reflective questions. So the goal often is about 4 to 8 minutes in a classroom for a walkthrough, sometimes more, sometimes less, but I will tell the class 4 to 8 minutes, just as you'd walk in a traditional classroom, and you will see me here in the next few minutes, and I'll be brief, start to fill this out and go back and forth as an administrator would, watching the video, fill this walkthrough form out, and then we'll go on to the next walkthrough, just like we would in the next classroom. Here we go.
It says, imagine you just invented the app Draw Something, and your goal is to sell it to Zynga, the biggest purchaser of mobile apps in the world. In order for Zynga to consider your new app for purchase, it must have a download rate of 5% of all mobile users. Out of the 288 7th graders at your school, 12 have downloaded the app you created. So based on the sample, predict how many of the school's 864 students will download the app, and then you're going to determine whether or not your team is ready to approach Zynga with a sales pitch for your app. Justify all of your answers with written out explanations, equations, tables, and or graphs. So I'm not telling you which ones to use, okay? You just do what you feel would work, okay? So let's take 5 minutes of private think time to generate some ideas, come up with some things that you can use in your small group. Go ahead and start to collaborate with each other and look at what other people have done and see if their way might have helped you, or make sure that you can look at the way you did it with the way they did it and see how they connect, why you're both able to do it that way. I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to talk in your small groups before I give you paper, okay, so that you can kind of get some other things worked out, all right? So 5 minutes.
And we want to have 5%, and that wasn't 5%, so it would be, they should not approach Zynga. And then, 1%.
How did you get rated? Send it by that.
Yeah, that's what I do.
That makes it easier.
What rate did you guys get?
I got 1/24, but I don't think that's right now because the way I graphed it, well, 24 would be why you can
24 would be...
Well, I mean, no, you would put that on the y-axis because the total amount of students would affect how many students downloaded the app, not the...
Yeah, you did it backwards on the graph. Everything else is right. Here's y.
I see that now.
Aha moment there for that young lady. And I'm going to stop there, just going back and forth here. I'd probably say yes, students engaged in learning. My evidence would be think time on with problem solving before they collaborated on the story problem. And I proceed here on with the next. Assessment observed, maybe not so much. Formative, if any, so far. Cite my evidence, and then reflective questions here. The first thing that comes to my mind here is actually, are those students grouped intentionally based on a seating arrangement or the lesson today, or is that just where they're choosing to be seated? So you would finish this. Once you're finished, have a couple reflective questions for the teacher, 1 to 3. Then you would hit finish and submit, which I will do here. And it'll say, are you sure? Yes. Don't shut your lid there until it saves. And we'll be done with this example walkthrough. And we'll go back to the next page. We're good there. We'll leave this page open because what we're going to do then, once I've watched 4 to 6 minutes of this one or so, I'm actually going to proceed with the next one. So you have 8 walkthroughs here of various lessons, from music classes to kindergarten to high school coding lesson, which was a new one I added to do. We will be talking in class on Sunday about the feedback collectively from all your walkthroughs on these lessons and go a little bit deeper. But if you can complete these walkthroughs just like I did for the first one, going back and starting the next one again, that would be great. And if you have any questions, certainly reach out to me and be in touch. I look forward to meeting you in person on Sunday during class, and I hope this little overview is helpful to be able to complete your walkthroughs. Thanks, Alyssa. Travel safe.